Karpowership, that's right, remember that name, is blasting the SA government for delaying its project. The world's biggest supplier of floating gas-fired power plants won the right to supply power in March of last year, but it's yet to get environmental approval or permission to use any port space. Let's find out where we are on this. Karpowership SA spokesperson Kay Sexwale. Kay, good morning to you. Where are we on all of this? Because those who want power were very agreeable and amenable to what Karpowership was offering, but the environmental factors were a major issue. What headway have you made? Good morning.
Good morning, Gareth. Thanks for having us. Now, some of the obstacles that we've highlighted are from some government departments that are not working cohesively with the urgent IPP program, and it's flagged as a special infrastructure project to provide urgently needed power to the hobbling grid. And the blackouts are actually quite an inconvenience for everybody, including the communities in South Africa, the economy, and so on. So some of the hurdles that we have encountered are from the Department of Environmental Affairs, which is delaying the appeal of our environmental authorization, and the Departments of Transport and Public Enterprises, who have yet to make a decision on whether the power ships will be allowed to moor at the ports of Saldanha, Richards Bay, and Ngqura.
When you say not working cohesively, is that a different way of saying that they don't like the idea of Karpowerships because the impact on the environment?
No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that the intergovernmental cooperation we find is lacking in terms of the different departments talking to each other, because we're getting cooperation from several departments, but then also getting I wouldn't call it that they have resistance to the projects, but they're just delaying in coming back to us. And with regard to the environmental authorization, we believe that our power ships are environmentally sound, and we have lodged an appeal last year with the Environmental Authority to the denial of the environmental authorizations, and they were supposed to take 120 days to get back to us, but it has taken over 300 days now, and we expect to get an answer after 350 days, which is the current schedule that they have now.
And apart from government as well, Kay, you've received a lot of trouble from, as far as Karpowership SA is concerned, from fishing communities as well. What has been the negotiation there? It's one thing to speak to government, but I'm sure you've also had to speak to communities who claim that this could destroy their livelihoods. Where are you on that?
We've spoken to many different communities, and there's a lot of information about our technology with regards to the emissions that come from power ships. And a lot of this comes from well-funded lobby groups who mobilize so-called communities, because the communities that we deal with have told us that they welcome the power ships coming onto their ports, especially because of the investment opportunities and the job opportunities that they bring. And the environmental impact of liquid natural gas is 50% less than coal and diesel, which is what South Africa is currently using. And as you recall, recently Eskom admitted that during load shedding, it costs 10 million rands an hour to use emergency diesel reserves, and that's very concerning.
I suppose we are between a proverbial rock and a hard place as a country, aren't we? Of course, we want to protect our environment, and all of those environmental groups have a right to protest and have their say. But on the other hand, we also need power in the country. So it's almost a case of we can't have it both ways, can we?
Absolutely. And as I've said, there's a misinformation campaign around the environmental impact of power ships, and that's quite concerning. And we're working towards correcting the misconceptions that have been put out against Karpowership.
Let's just talk some numbers for a moment, if you don't mind, Kay, just to help viewers just to reorientate ourselves where we are on this. Can we talk about the number of jobs that this is going to produce if it were given the go-ahead? And just again, I'm going to go a little nerdy on you here. Just remind us what kind of power this is going to provide to the country. How much of a strain is this going to take away from Eskom? But let's start with the jobs first.
Okay, so 1,200 jobs will be created across the 3 different ports in South Africa, and the power would be 1,220 megawatts, which is eliminating a full stage of load shedding.
So that'll take away a full stage. And if these ships were to be given the berthing rights and allowed to berth outside of port, how quickly could this power get put into the grid? I'm sure it's not as simple as a plug and play. It's not a 3-pin plug, I'm sure.
No, but it's actually pretty quick compared to many other power plants. So we would be able to activate within 12 months of being given all authorizations.
And so what's next for you here? You say that there are a number of instances of misinformation around this, issues with, as you say, some government departments. Today, moving forward, what's the state of play? Where do you go to next?
So the state of play for us is to continue to engage the different players and to bring it to the attention of the different authorities to make it quite urgent that we do supply this power, because the longer we wait, the more South Africa suffers.
And just, I'll leave this as my last question to you, Kay. If this doesn't happen by August, is there a chance that Karpowership will pull out of this project? Is this a case of if it doesn't happen this year, it might never happen? Are they getting impatient?
We're fully committed to South Africa as an investment site for the company, Gareth. So we're not talking pulling out just yet. We are looking at all different avenues in order to overcome all the hurdles that face us.
At 1,200 jobs, you say, would be created. Any idea how many jobs could be lost in the fishing industry? It's part of the allegations against Karpowership.
There are no jobs that will be lost in the fishing industry. The ships would not be in fishing ports.
I appreciate your time. Kay Sexwale, Karpowership SA, joining us this morning. It's still an ongoing discussion, and it looks like we're going to have to keep a very close eye on what happens with these ships going forward.